hate to tell people, Godfrey Rush is just as important as Penelope Cruz. He's gotten the Academy Award for Best Actor. Hers is for Supporting Actress. He was also in last year's big winner, you know, the King's Speech, you know. So he's just as important. I didn't see all of his extra people on that list.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's because he's old enough to be the father of the others, is what it is, I think. But no, if it's action you want, and a story that really sort of,
it's a fantasy world.
It's a fantasy
It's like,
movie.
if you love the other pirates, you're gonna love this one. It's a fantasy world. It's action. It's fun. Now,
if you want to see a lot of Johnny Depp nonsense, actually, if you want to see a lot of Johnny Depp being very athletic, I mean, he was massively athletic in this thing.
yeah, he was.
I mean, he's acting like a guy that's in his early 40s that really wants to show that he is an athlete.
Well, you know, since Orlando Bloom wasn't there to do the sword fighting, Johnny did it.
Johnny
himself.
Depp did all that stuff that Bloom would have done. I mean, he took Bloom's place and still did the comedy stuff. You know, so, and I did hear one guy yesterday, he said, you know, I still think he's gay. Well, he's, you know, and, you know, and he wiggled, you know, he wanted. So what do you think? But his clothes were more subdued. His clothes were continually more subdued, and they give you, you're going to have to look at the picture because there were, as they said, there's hidden messages in.
Well, there is, and they haven't. First of all, they don't mention anything about Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
So they leave it open. But they leave it open also so that you expect to see Penelope Cruz in the next one, since she's already signed on.
And
but it's also open so that Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley could come back, and this could be just like a chapter within what happened.
Within what happened. And also, because remember, the last time in the last movie you saw them years later, so this would have taken place before Bloom came back to meet with Knightley again. So, but another thing to watch out. Okay, remember in this movie you're only going to see the one guy, Gibbs, but if you watch the movie and you'll find an answer to why the Pirates crew, why the crew from the Black Pearl is not there, because they're there.
Yes.
They are there.
They are there. Remember, the monkey's there. Remember those two pirates that are on the ship that play like the one with the comedy relief, the guy with the missing eyeball and the other guy with him? Okay, so
the pirates are there. They're just not there in a manner that you're going to catch on to real quickly. But another thing to watch for in the movie, Penelope Cruz was obviously badly hurt in the movie.
Oh.
Because you'll see a big, huge scar. I mean, basically, it's a great big welt on the side of her face that you know that isn't makeup because it's just continually red around it. And it gets lighter and then it gets red. So you can tell when it's the red part, when it's red, that's when she was hit in the face with something.
Well, and part of it is you know, makeup can do so much. Because remember, if you're in IMAX, and Johnny Depp or Penelope Cruz is from the bottom of the screen to the very top of the screen.
Yeah, and you can basically,
you know, I mean, that's huge.
You can see a welt on the face that basically, it was not there in some parts of the picture, but it is basically there during the entire film. Which meant I'm guessing she had a serious injury and they put makeup over top of it. But it also, you could tell when it really happened because it was, you know, red, you know, right below her eye on this side and red all the way around this great big mark on the side of her face. If they wanted a scar, they would have made a scar because they gave her a tattoo on her chest, so. If they gave her, so they would have given her a real scar, they wouldn't have given her a great big welt. The welt looks like they're covering up an injury.
Well, and then Johnny has an X. The X marks the spot. They never do really talk about that.
That's a secret, has a secret meaning.
Ooh.
That has a secret meaning in the fact that he's also got a big gash on this side of his face during parts of the movie that he isn't always there. So I think there was a lot of injuries in that movie that basically didn't get publicized.
Maybe because he actually was there a stunt double for him, or was he actually doing the fighting?
Oh, he's doing most of a lot of the stuff. He was doing a lot of the things that were being done because you could see him, you know, in one sequence falling, you could see him standing on top of things, you could see him swinging.
I mean, it seemed like a much more physical character for him this time than.
Well, no, this was the most physical you'll ever see Johnny Depp in a role, because I think he's in his early 40s and wanted to show that he could do the Orlando Bloom stuff. He did everything that Bloom did. He did this time, and he wasn't drunk when he was doing it. And I think what he did have one line. He said that I would never do that because I'm never that drunk. So
he did say that.
Yeah, never that drunk. But so there's a lot of Johnny Depp lines in there. But we think that it's you probably should go out and see the movie, because it's probably going to be. I mean, Kate. The Disney people really went out and basically they covered the tops up on the mermaids, which makes me tend to believe there's a second version. I think they're digital tops they put on the girls.
Oh, could be. Well, part of it is I wore this swimsuit because of mermaids today. Oh, yeah, and the disturbing mermaids that.
Yeah, that it is it's a PG movie because of lots of violence and a lot of action, but it's a typical.
It's fun.
It's a fun movie. I mean, it's something. I mean, there was an awful lot of kids sitting in front of us cheering and going, "Yay!" They applauded the end credits down below us. So. Oh,
and then also because a lot of blockbusters that are brought out during the summer are intended to be seen on the big screen. You can of course watch this at home in your home theater or on your little screen.
Yeah.
But there's nothing quite like seeing this huge total immersion right in front of you.
It's the deal. It's you cannot. They said that. No matter what you do, you're never going to be able to replace the theatrical experience. I mean, the screens, multiplexes are getting smaller screens all the time. What happens is the multiplexes are forcing people from the theater into the home, because if you got a thing that's like a 20 foot wall that you're showing your motion picture on, guys, you can get a projector and put it on a 20-foot wall in your house.
That's true. This is the ones you use a projector for.
So if they put in these 20 plexes, these 30 plexes, their screen sizes are shrinking, and they're basically going to destroy their own audience. So, I mean, as it is, I'll tell you, at the theater, they were stomping all over Pirates with promos for the X-Men that's going to be coming out. Everywhere you went. I mean, okay, we know how serious is Disney about where we went. We know we had Disney personnel in the building walking around with pads in their hands. So.
And how do we know they were Disney personnel?
Well, because
we've seen them before.
We've seen them before, yeah, we've seen them before. And
we did see the people with pads.
And they're taking notes about everything, and they're basically going over and getting, picking up stuff and eating it and drinking it. That's clout, folks. Right.
The suits were there.
Yeah, but. This is our review. Our next review is going to be on, we're going to talk about the difference between IMAX, because these glasses, these glasses here, okay, an IMAX glass is more, see the difference, the size?
Well, the IMAX glasses are larger than those.
And IMAX is larger than this, but you can see a lot of the difference between the two. So, because the IMAX is built, because it's this way. And the most 3D is this way, so which is why these look like the glasses that we have on. But I guess until we come back and do our review on
the 3D glasses,
on the 3D glasses,
on the 3D movie,
going to do the difference between IMAX and
it'll be IMAX to the regular 3D, and then the 3D glasses compared to the other 3D glasses.
Yeah, and these glasses are all passive glasses. Which is why it's sort of ridiculous to do an active shutter glass for a television set when all the glasses that you have in the theaters are passive. So.
That is a good point, isn't it?
So until next time, this is Old Cam.
And this is not a spring chicken. We're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. For more information, you can always go to
www.montybubbles.net on the net, and by the time you see this, I should have all this information up for you to be able to read yourself too, from the courtesy of the Walt Disney Company. Folks.
Yes, thank you, Disney, for continuing to put these out for
the press to be able to read. I know that people like to read production notes, so so.
It is. I love reading them.
Because there's all kinds of information you can find. Some of it's correct, some of it's not correct. Like they forget over. Some people actually grow. Some people may have been 5'11" when they started, but they're like 6'2" now. So.
Well, that was the IMDb page. You never know how.
No, but I have information about people.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so wherever you're watching. watching us. Subscribe to us. Follow our daily newscast in 3D. And thank you once again for over 40 million links on the internet.